Welcome to Simple Talk, Simple Truth with your host Renee Maimone.
I don't know if you're like me, but I'm learning to stop and pray over everything. We have people that come to us for small issues, sometimes more serious issues, and it's very easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of their crisis, so to speak. A lot of times those people are moving in fear. They don't have or not operating in faith. Maybe they're just either not educated in scriptures or maybe not even being involved with God at all. But nonetheless, they're going through something, whether it's physical, no matter what the situation is. And right away, as believers, we want to come to the table and see what we can offer them. And if we're not prayed up, we can very easily become entangled in their fear, in their perspective, in human wisdom, human understanding, human resolution. And a lot of unnecessary time and situations can be avoided just by taking a moment and go into prayer, because that is where the facts are. We're operating in the unknown as it is because we don't know. And it's very, very easy in the emotions to get caught up in what that person is going through. And so therefore, we can almost add more wood to the fire for them if we allow ourselves to be caught up or roped in to the spirit of fear. And this was a perfect illustration of something I went through with very little sleep last night. Why? Because I got roped in to a situation of someone that felt that they wanted to go back to the hospital. Now, they had just been seen at a local hospital and was given a certain amount of details, but enough just to basically let them know that they could be released from the hospital and maybe just take some ibuprofen or some Tylenol or whatever to offset some of the discomfort. And so when this individual had contacted me, she was almost in tears and the pain was spreading a little bit. And right away, it's a family member, found myself rushing to the situation to be a fixer, so to speak, and found myself immediately operating in human wisdom, human understanding, human resolution, and therefore it became an all-night event, realizing then the next day that it all could have been avoided. So what had transpired was I had offered to take this relative to a more distant medical facility. And now it's getting late at night. And prior to me even going, I had something came over me, the thought, are you going to stop and pray? Or will you pray over her? And I thought to myself, I responded with earthly or human understanding. And I thought, well, we had already prayed. And maybe that wasn't working. Because obviously, she's got more pain. So I allowed my human wisdom to kick in instead of really hearing from God, who has all the facts. And this was something that he allowed me to go through so I can learn something here. Because at the end of the hospital visit, what she was going through was actually very normal for a normal thing that a woman may go through on a month-to-month basis. And so no tests were needed, no dramatic procedures were required. It was a simple explanation that what she was going through was actually normal. And so now it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's an hour and 15 minutes to get back into town. And because we were wide awake, we stopped off for breakfast. I ended up having to cancel an early appointment for my business, and sluggish throughout the entire day for lack of sleep. And so dealing with another matter, because we all got them in our families, in our homes, or something we're going through with the business or whatever. And in dealing with another specific situation, I began to pray about that. And the evening before came to my mind. And it was apparent God wanted to show me something about this. And I began to reflect on how I didn't stop and pray over that party. And maybe by praying over that party, God could have very well easily dispelled the fear. Maybe something could have come to her mind about what she was already told at the first hospital visit. And maybe more peace over her could have caused her to say, you know what, I feel like this is really not what I'm allowing it to be. I really believe I'm going to be fine. I was just at the hospital. And so the entire night, the rendezvous could have been avoided. Now, this is just a situation. There's a pertinent principle, though, I just want to bring across, is that by stopping and connecting with the one who knows all the facts, can easily push aside the unknown. It can push aside the fear. It could push aside the uncertainty. It could push aside time, unnecessary time spent, gas that it costs to travel, whatever the case may be. It's costly on all levels because we simply don't take a situation to God and say, okay, Lord, this is what it looks like, but what is going on with you? Am I going to allow myself to get roped into someone else's fear? Can I hear directly from you so that maybe I can bring across a word to this person even? Maybe it's a word of, there's nothing there. You were maybe just at the hospital. This is what I believe I was shown. Let's pray right now over this. And maybe what you need is more rest, or whatever, however God is explaining what is needed. God can very well easily come through and say, this person is absolutely in fear. There is nothing wrong with that person. Now, you have a free will, and he has a permissive will. He has a perfect will. His permissive will allow you to just go according to your own human wisdom, operate in somebody else's fear. But in his patience and in his understanding, oftentimes he steps back and says, okay, I'm going to allow you to go through all that. If you're choosing to go that way, go ahead. But I'm still going to teach you something through this so that maybe you don't have to get caught in the pitfall of someone else's fear next time. Now, it could be by going into prayer. God says, there's a procedure that I may want her to have, or there is something here that they're going to find, and I'm going to use the situation. Or that person doesn't need to go at all because there's nothing wrong. Whatever, God's wisdom always supersedes ours. And I found myself just rushing to another avenue when the whole time I could have connected with the one who has all the answers and knows specifically what is going on, where, and everything else, has all the answers. And therefore, it could have even been a testimony. It could have saved the night. Both her and myself could have had the proper amount of sleep that was needed. I could have seen the appointment that I needed to see this morning to treat somebody. And the rest goes on. You know where I'm going with this. So this is a short testimony. It's a short illustration that I'm learning every day, just like you. And I enjoy these videos because they're spiritual principles in daily living that we can apply. And it's just something very simple, just to take a moment or two to just stop in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the fear that others may have, or even from ourselves, something that we're going through. Fear, there's this acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real. It's absolutely perfect in illustrating what fear is. It's a false evidence that appears real. Why? Because God never has us moving in fear. That's never how God operates. He'll always operate in peace. And so when there's this fearful thing that occurs that could sometimes catch your breath, or whatever the situation, no matter how difficult, God is ever present. And he can be reached at any moment of any day. And just say, Lord, this is not looking too good. But you know what's going on behind the scenes. You know what's going on with this person in their mind, in their body, in their heart. Please give me the light. Show me what I need to do or what I need to say in that, or believe, or whatever, in that specific situation. And you may just save yourself a rendezvous of something that you're not even called to handle. So that's basically about it. In everything that comes to us, we can just stop, go straight into prayer and say, okay, God, what's the deal here? And we can really be more of a blessing to a situation, to another party, by taking the time in doing that. God bless you guys. We'll talk again.